guys, this is Diana. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about something that I think is very important, and that is art style. This is a topic that I have been thinking about for a while. It's something that I was always concerned and even kind of obsessed about when I was first starting out, and also something that I remember, you know, if I had just gotten maybe like the right guidance for it and maybe someone just kind of working with me on it, I might have maybe not struggled as much. So I think that what I'm trying to provide here is some helpful information, maybe some clarity on if you're feeling a bit confused about it. It's just something that I think might help you if you are really struggling with this, or you just want a little more information about this. I'm going to give you my personal take on art style, what it is, why I think it's important, and how to develop your own personal style. And while I'm talking on this subject, I'm going to be leaving you here with my time-lapse that I've been working on. It's, of course, one of my witchy skeletal ladies, stuff that I definitely love to do, and also a good example of what my style looks like. So let's get started. So before we can get into how to develop a style, I think it's important to define what art style is. So in my view, an art style is kind of the visual makeup of your art. It's how you choose to express the subject matter that you're drawing, your special take on it, your like signature look. So for example, if we have 3 different artists and we have them draw the same portrait, each artist is going to have like their own unique spin to it. It'll be obvious when we see the drawings that each one has like their own kind of little signature look, maybe in how they express those lines, or the color palettes they use, or just like how they interpret the subject that they're seeing. So why is style important? Well, there are a lot of reasons why it's important. I'm going to get into like the 2 main ones that I think most artists are concerned with. So the first one, if you are a freelancer and you are trying to get hired as an illustrator for like a commercial job, such as like doing book covers or children's book illustration, basically any kind of commercial work that you're trying to get hired for, it's really important to have a style, a look, because that is what art directors look for. That is how they hire you, based on the specific look that you have that they need for a specific project. And they also want to make sure that they know what they're getting when they're hiring you. So it's important that your work is consistent, because if it's not, or you're kind of all over the place, they're not going to know what to do with you. They're not going to know where to place you, and they're not going to be able to trust you to deliver on the specific kind of aesthetic that they're looking for. Because they're not, you know, they're gonna get confused if they see like a lot of different styles in your portfolio. It's like, what kind of job are you trying to get here? You know, what are you trying to do? So I think like having a very consistent style when you're trying to get hired is super, super important. It helps art directors just know exactly what they're hiring you for, and it helps for them to remember who you are, so that you can continue to get hired for similar jobs. Now, in my case, I'm an independent artist, and usually I do a lot of conventions and I sell my art online. So I sell my art directly to my customers, and so I don't really do a lot of freelance work myself, but I know there are a lot of artists like me who do their own work and sell them directly to their fans. So for me, style is also really important. And you know, you may be wondering like, well, if I'm just doing my own thing, why is style so important? Well, it's important because you're still building a brand, you're still building a business. And what you're trying to do is you're creating an aesthetic that you want people to remember you by. If you're like at a convention and you're set up, you don't just want like a customer to come by and buy one piece of your art and then forget about you. You want them to keep coming back to you. You want them to keep following you and go on your Instagram, follow you on YouTube, follow you wherever it is that you are, go to your website, subscribe to your newsletter. Like, you want them to do all of those things because you want that repeat business. And the way you get that repeat business is by letting your customer know through your work that you are consistent about the kind of aesthetic that you're producing with your work. So if they see your body of work and they see like you're kind of all over the place and you have a lot of like different things going on, they may be less likely to follow you because they don't know what they're gonna get from you. The look of your art hasn't quite been established yet. And most of the time people want to follow people that are consistent, that this is something I like, for instance, then I want to come back for more of this type of thing. Okay, if you're doing this kind of crazy swirly art, this whimsical sort of art, this is the art I want, then if I see that you're doing that kind of art, all your work is suggesting that's the kind of art you're doing, I'm going to want to come back for more of that because that's the kind of art I like and that's what I want to see more of. So if like I follow you and then suddenly I see you doing like something completely different, then it's going to be very confusing and I'm going to be like, wait a minute, why am I following this person? It's not like personal, it's just like people like what they like, and it's your job as an artist to kind of create a signature look, let's just say, that's going to help people identify you for your unique take, your unique vision. Okay, what unique vision do you have? It also really helps you stand out. There's a lot of competition, a lot of artists, and if you have your own unique look, that really helps you stand out from everybody. That helps you say, hey, look, this is what I do. This is my very special thing that I do. So if you like this very special thing, then you have to come to me for that. I think it's very important for artists, if you're an independent artist, for you to establish that, to present yourself that way, because that's what helps build your brand and your business. If you're just kind of all over the place, it's going to be hard to identify you or pick you out from the crowd because you don't really have a distinct look. Again, and I just want to say, it's okay if you don't have a style. Like, there are artists who don't have one specific style, who do a lot of different things. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. If it works for you, that's great. But just based off my experience, if you want to take your business seriously, if you really want to turn this into a professional business, then having a specific look, a specific style becomes very important. It becomes a really important tool in how you market yourself and how you sell your work. I also think it's okay to have more than one style. I know for me, I have like maybe 2 to 3 different styles that I like to use. They all kind of fall under the same umbrella and subject matter, so it's easy for me to market and sell them all kind of from the same place. But I also know that sometimes styles can clash and can be so different because they have different audiences. So if you do have different styles, I think that's fine too. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You have to like strategize how you want to present those styles, you know, in a way that isn't going to confuse your audience, basically. But that's like maybe a subject matter for another video. So if that is something you want to hear about how to maintain more than one style in your portfolio and how to do that as an artist, how do you juggle different styles, please let me know if this is something you want to hear about, and I'll make another video about that. Back to the importance of style. I just think it is really important if you want to actually build and grow your audience. If you're just doing art as a hobby for fun and you have another day job and you're not as worried about building this into like a substantial income from your art, then do whatever you want. Obviously, like, you have that freedom to do whatever you want. And if you do not want to have a style, you just kind of want to do a lot of different things, that's totally okay. I'm specifically talking about like if you're trying to build an audience. This is how you build an audience. You build an audience through providing very consistent, cohesive body of work that people can rely on. So let's get into the juicy part now, the part that you have been waiting for. How do you develop your own style? How do you get that signature look? I'm going to give you an answer that maybe isn't as straightforward as you would like it to be, but it is, I do feel like it is the right answer. And that is, you just have to develop it over time through letting it come out naturally. And I know that's not like super straightforward, and it sounds like something like, well, you just have to like follow your blah blah blah, your heart or whatever. It sounds like some bullshit like that, but it's really kind of it though. Like, you just have to focus on building your skill and just making a lot of art and not really worrying so much about trying to nail down a style. You just have to kind of explore and try different things, experiment, try different materials, play around with different techniques. At the same time, also build your skill by getting all that foundation going, like all the basics like figure drawing and composition, color theory, you know, all those kind of basic drawing skill classes that most schools want you to take. I think those are really important to start with, and through doing that you will start to see and uncover kind of different things, different ways that you like to go about things. Like maybe there's a particular way that you like to make brush strokes, a particular way that you like to draw lines, your particular kind of take on, you know, when you're doing figure drawings, that style is gonna start showing through. You don't have to force it or try to nail it down or try to make it happen. It will eventually start showing through. But I do think it's cool to explore and experiment, because that also may give you some clues as to like what you may like, what you may not like to do. It's really just about finding a thread and then following that thread. If you find something that really speaks to you, something that is really enjoyable for you, you follow that and see where that goes. And then just, maybe it'll go somewhere, maybe it won't. It may give you more of a clue. It may like just kind of get you a little closer to like what your style is going to look like. You know, you don't even know what it's going to look like. And the thing about style is it's also something that evolves. You may start doing something, a year later you maybe look something completely different, because especially when you're young, you're still growing, you're still like trying to figure things out, you're trying to figure yourself out, what you like, what you don't like, and so it's going to evolve and change. When I first started, my art looked very different. My style looked very different than what it looks like now. I went through like quite a bit of evolution, a lot of different kind of cycles of different type of styles of art before I'm where I am now. And even now I feel like I could still evolve from this eventually, you know, maybe in a few years, you know, it could look even different than this. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it, you know, a style is supposed to evolve and change. That's totally okay. You should allow that to happen. Even learning when you're even like, I don't even have a style, how do I even begin to, you know, form a style? Again, it's really just about patience and letting your natural inclinations to what you like to do guide you, rather than trying to force a specific look or a specific thing. I know that for me, when I was first starting out, it was something I was really concerned with, so I would often force things because I wanted to get a very, very specific look, because I wanted to do fantasy illustration, so I was looking at other fantasy illustrators that I really admired, and I was trying to force myself into like doing my art similar to them, not copying, let's say, but being very much influenced by their looks. And it wasn't until a few years later that I realized that, one, I didn't want to be a fantasy illustrator, actually. I didn't want to do freelance work, is what I'm saying. I still do fantasy art, but it's more like my own thing. And just, I developed my own look. I developed my own take on things, my own vision, and I learned to trust myself. I learned to just accept the things that I can do and the things that I can do well. I think that's really important. You know, sometimes we take for granted the very special things that we offer to the art, you know, like the little special kind of flair or whatever it is that we do, and we often overlook that at first because our eyes are on something else. But I do think it's important to kind of step back and be like, maybe this very sketchy, rough style I'm doing is not something I should smooth over. Maybe it is something, kind of a natural thing that comes out, and I should actually explore this because this is my unique thing, and I should maybe honor that unique thing rather than trying to smooth it out because it doesn't look like what I wanted my art to look like when I first started, if that makes sense. You know, like we all come in with certain expectations, certain ideas of how our art should look or how we should look. And the problem is when you get too fixated on something that specific, you lose sight of what else you could be looking at, what else could be coming out from your work that is uniquely you. Because you don't really know what is uniquely you until you actually start playing around with things and letting yourself experiment and explore. And as you explore, you discover little things. You discover, oh hey, I really love doing line work. How can I incorporate more line work into everything I do? Oh hey, I really love working with very bright, intense colors. What can I do with that, you know? Like, let's play around with that a little more. And that's kind of how you build on that. You build on those little ideas that you find through just doing a lot of art. You learn to put them all together, and that's how you develop a style. You just need a lot of patience. Be patient with yourself, trust yourself, accept that, like, your unique vision and your unique take on things. If there's something you just like to do, then honor that. Don't be like, I hate how I do this. You know, there is maybe something about that maybe you're not appreciating. That's how style is formed, or it should be formed. I think it's the way to do it, really. I don't think you should force yourself into a mold, because yeah, you might create something, but it's never gonna make you happy. It's never gonna be as satisfying, and you're always gonna be struggling to make it work. When it's your style, when it's your vision, it actually feels very liberating. There's almost like kind of an effortless quality about it, because it's coming so naturally from you, you know. And if you feel like you're constantly struggling against something, or you're fighting something, then maybe you're not letting yourself fully explore that thing that's coming out naturally from you. That's kind of it, like how I see it. Again, this is all my opinions. Obviously, someone else might have like a different take on it. That's totally okay. I just wanted to say thank you very much for hanging out and listening to me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it and what you think of style, what your opinions are. How did you develop your style? What are you struggling with and working on? I really hope that this helped you and maybe get you start thinking of it in a more productive way, so that you're not sitting there struggling too much, you know. I'm here to like clarify some things, so maybe it may help you to achieve your goals. And that's going to be it for today. Thank you everybody for hanging out and listening. Please be sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all the stuff. Help me boost my channel so that more people can see it and I can grow on here. And also be sure to check me out on Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, Facebook, all at Ghoulish Bunny Studios. That is where I post all my latest updates for my work. And thank you, and I'll see you guys later.